In this inaugural video, we'll briefly discuss the history of Tigray and its writing system. Most speakers of Tigrayan live in their ancestral land known as Tigray, where their forefathers had built one of the greatest civilizations in the ancient world. As far back as 4,000 years ago, rural farming hamlets and villages were formed in the land. Eventually, towns and urban settlements throughout the land led to the formation of literate complex societies. By about 3,000 years ago, a great civilization came into existence. That civilization was centered first in the ancient city of Yeha, with a kingdom known as Da'amat, and then in the ancient city of Aksum with the Aksumite kingdom. The pre-Aksumite Da'amat kingdom spanned from the 10th century BC to the 4th century BC. The ruins of the great temple at Yeha was from this era, and it is the oldest standing structure in this part of the world, dating back to at least the 7th century BC. The temple's advanced craftsmanship testifies to the level of sophistication the ancestors of today's Tigrayans had so far back in history. The decline of Da'amat led to the emergence of chiefdoms that lasted for a couple of centuries. The civilization was revived when the Aksumite kingdom was established in the 1st century BC and lasted for a staggering 1,000 years. The kingdom had the port city of Adulis along its Red Sea coast, for what was then one of the busiest maritime trades in the world. The Aksumites had relations with world powers such as Rome and minted their own currency, with text engraved in Aksumite and Greek scripts. Archaeological findings showing ancient jewelry, among others, indicate that the Aksumites traded with civilizations near and far. The Aksumite kingdom, also known as the Kingdom of Aksum, ruled to the east as far as Yemen across the Red Sea and to the west as far as the banks of the White Nile River in Sudan. According to historians, at its height in the middle of the first millennium AD, the Kingdom of Aksum was, quote-unquote, the most powerful state between the Eastern Roman Empire and Persia. The city of Aksum, which is not far from Yeha in central Tigray, was the place where all kings and emperors were crowned for almost 2,000 years, from the beginning of the Aksumite kingdom to the 19th century, which was long after the kingdom had fallen. Settled centuries before Christ and showcasing some of the greatest archaeological and religious heritage of Tigray, Aksum is believed to be the final resting place of the Ark of the Covenant. The very stone tablets that Moses received from God at Mount Sinai are believed to be resting in the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Aksum. The Ark is never to be touched or seen by mere mortals other than the anointed priests tasked with guarding it. As a result, the town of Aksum is the holiest place for tens of millions of people who are followers of the Tigrayan Orthodox Church, which includes non-Tigrayans. In fact, the annual celebration of the St. Mary of Zion in Aksum is one of the largest, if not the largest, gathering of Orthodox Christians in Africa. The Tigrayan civilization gave us the Ge'ez language that is still used, although nowadays it's relegated to liturgical purposes only. It also gave us the writing systems in use today known as the Aksumite Fidal or script, which is unique in Africa. That makes Tigrayans owners of the only civilization in Africa with a writing system that has been in use continuously since classical times. There have of course been modifications to the writing system, including adding new graphemes to represent new sounds acquired from contact with other language groups throughout the ages. The Aksumite writing system has been so successful that it has been adopted by other peoples, including the neighboring people of Amhara. The Izana stone, a stele from the 4th century still standing in Tigray, and other archaeological findings show inscriptions in Proto-Aksumite, which is the consonantal writing system that predated the Aksumite syllabic writing system in use today. King Izana ruled between 333 and 356 AD and was the first ruler of the Aksumite kingdom to convert to Christianity. Izana is often compared to his contemporary, the Roman Emperor Constantine the Great, who also converted to Christianity around the same time. Izana's obelisk, which is one of the tallest ones standing at 21 meters or 629 feet tall, is a monument from pre-Christian times like all the obelisks in Tigray, and it is believed to be the last of the obelisks that were ever built in ancient Tigray. Sometime after the 4th century, the current writing system was developed from the Proto-Aksumite. It was first developed as a modified consonant-only script, but later as a syllabary in which every character has the sound of the consonant and one or more vowels fused in it. It has been said that the Aksumite civilization provided diverse literature that continues to be critical for the study of the arrival and spread of early Christianity and Judaism in northeastern Africa. In the 5th century, a group group of missionaries known as ተሽዓቱ ቅዱሳን or the Nine Saints arrived in Aksum. These were men from Syria, Constantinople, Anatolia, and Rome, whose mission was to propagate the gospel of Christ, which of course resulted in spreading Christianity beyond the palace and the caravan route, which was between Aksum and its port city of Adulis. The earliest illustrated Christian manuscript in the entire world, referred to as the Garima Gospels, which still survive, were written at this time. In the 7th century, in a somewhat comparable turn of events, Muslim refugees fleeing persecution in Arabia arrived in the kingdom of Aksum. After securing asylum from the Aksumite king, they settled and eventually became the first Islamic community in Africa.